This is a message from your guides reading for Family of Light. Okay, so I have 3 crystals here, and then I have a group statue, which is my lion/dragon. I'm pretty sure it was a lion, but I always thought it was a dragon, so now I just kind of associate it with both. So this is one of the crystals that I drew specifically for your reading, and I'm going to surround us in some protective space to start. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you these last 2, and then I'll say a little of what came through there, or all of what came through there, but it was a little. So this is my sodalite, and then I have here my sunstone, and then I showed you the rose quartz already. So heart chakra with the rose quartz, harmony in relationships, including the relationship to yourself. It brings a lot of comfort, joy, love, healing. And then we have sodalite. This really reveals truth. It helps you to express your truth and to express your authentic self. So it's definitely a throat chakra stone. There's also some third eye energies going on with the stone, and helping you to center, ground, and get mentally clear, mentally focused. And then the sunstone here, this has a lot of the lower chakras, energies of the lower chakras, a lot of grounding. It feels like, in particular with this reading, it still feels like getting clear and grounding. But there is a lot of charged energy with that stone as well, since it's having to do mostly with the solar plexus. So there's a lot of charged energy with that, but I'm just feeling in particular grounding. So one thing that your guides were saying right away was sometimes it's almost like things can kind of seem ordinary, or just kind of ordinary or unimportant, but things really are always important, even like very small things. Like small things that you're doing now can actually lead you to something a lot bigger. They can lead you to a much more major outcome than you're thinking as you're taking all these little small steps. So it's very good to think ahead. It's very good to be focused on the present, but at the same time to realize that what you're going to be doing in the future, it just feels like it's going to feel almost more exciting in some ways. This kind of takes me back to the last reading a little bit, where they're going on about your passion. And it feels like when you're in your passion, you're just really like in the flow. And so things feel a little bit more extraordinary than ordinary. They feel a little bit more fast paced, like you're moving forward more easily. And it doesn't feel, there's a feeling there from them also almost like you're not an ordinary person. And you definitely have gifts that are kind of, how do you say it? Well, psychic, like psychic gifts or like otherworldly type of gifts. So not really ordinary in the sense that we all have them, but at the same time, most people don't really enhance those. Most people don't really look into them or really understand that they're there. And so for most people as well, they're not very pronounced. I feel like that's definitely going to be part of your passion. It might come out in a bit of a different way, but it definitely feels like your gifts tie in with what you're going to be doing in the future, and that they're going to help you. They're going to be helping you with whatever you're doing, but it feels like in a very direct way, though, at the same time. And again, it feels like it's just going to be much more exciting in some ways than what you're doing now. It feels like right now it's like you're grounding. And that's really something to work on. You're grounding. You're working on being still. And it also feels like you're kind of broadening your horizons and you're preparing. It feels like you're preparing for the path in the future versus you kind of being in the thick of it right now, where you're doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. Where you know exactly what your path is, and in some ways where everything kind of feels fulfilling or makes sense, because obviously once you know exactly what you're going to be doing and you're in the middle of doing it, it feels that way, and it feels that way more so than when you're kind of finding that. But there's a lot of preparation that a person has to do before they can, in that sense, be on their path. Obviously, the preparation is them being on their path, even if in some ways they're not doing the exact thing that they're kind of here for, that they sort of came here to do in a sense. It's like kind of the groundwork, the preparation work before you can do that at all. And so you still have to go through those other stages. And so obviously those stages are part of the path leading up to what you are actually going to be doing. And they are definitely just as important, even if they can be in some ways, they can be just not as exciting as what you end up doing later on. But it is about like breathing and relaxing into it and they keep saying doing the groundwork. Okay, I know what they mean is like grounding work. They're talking about getting grounded. Coming into like a more grounded, centered, still kind of zone. And that's more fulfilling, though, in and of itself, because it's like you're taking in this breath of divine energy, and you're tapping into that energy. You're tapping into the divine energy. And it's also replacing anything that doesn't serve you or that doesn't need to be there. So you're not just filling yourself up with this divine energy, it's also like exploding. It is like this charged vibration that goes through, kind of like with the sunstone. It's like this charged vibration that comes through. And so then there's also this cleansing effect. Like with the solar plexus actually helps to charge all of the other chakras. It stores a lot of energy. It helps to circulate a lot of energy. So it actually helps to charge all of the other chakras that are there. But then the weird thing is that then underneath you have the sacral, and when it's working properly, it actually helps to cleanse all of the chakras. And it's right under the solar plexus. And so there is this kind of reaction. It's like there's this build up, and then there's this kind of explosive energy along with it. Like there has to be a reaction. So it feels like it's very cleansing to actually be still. And you can actually remove a lot of programmings without even really needing to do anything, is what they're saying, because you're zoning into yourself, and then the things that aren't you just start to kind of fall away. And you just become yourself more and more and more without really even trying to do anything. It's just because you're in this kind of meditative state. And in some ways that doesn't seem that exciting, but definitely from their like angle of looking at things, it definitely is. But it feels more fulfilling. It definitely feels more fulfilling and more satisfying to be still and full really, in a sense, full of your own energy, full of energy from your guides, full of divine energy from the universe, from Mother Earth, and from your own self. And tapping into that is like this breath of fresh air, but at the same time, it does other things. It enhances your gifts. It helps you come into a place of stillness where you can hear your guides more, where you can hear yourself more, your own intuition more, and where it kind of pours out onto everything else, this feeling and this kind of momentum. And all you're really doing is you're being still. But it kind of changes your outlook on everything. And those are really the main things it feels like that are important for you right now, for your growth. It has to do with stillness, observing and detaching, not reacting, and just becoming very still, kind of zoned in and centered when it comes to your feelings and your thoughts. And it automatically grounds you, and that enables you to step onto your path more easily. And what's the word for that? Almost like unhindered or uninhibited is, I guess, the word. I don't know what I just said, but uninhibited. Okay, so that is the message for this reading. Thank you very much for allowing me to do another reading for you. Namaste.